Hardly any video game character stands for heroic adventures as much as Mario does. The guy saves princesses, defeats villains, and happily jumps through colorful levels. But things can be different, and Nintendo wouldn't be Nintendo if they hadn't eventually thought, hey, let's just take the plumber and turn him into a damn pinball. And so over the course of his career, Mario has gone through some truly bizarre experiments. From shady educational games to a hotel-themed game that has basically nothing to do with hotels except a lot of doors. Some of these games are barely remembered today, and honestly that's probably for the best. But I've picked out a few of these very special Mario spin-offs, and we are going to take a closer look. Are they really as bad as they seem? Or is there some hidden value to be found? Let's find out. Enjoy the video. Mario has already taken on all kinds of roles, from athlete to doctor
I am a surgeon!
to car driver. But a hotel receptionist? Not the first thing you'd think of. At least not when you first hear the name Hotel Mario. This is actually one of the very few Mario games that didn't come out on a Nintendo console. Instead, it was released on the Philips CDI. Story-wise, they didn't exactly stretch their creativity. Once again, Bowser takes over the Mushroom Kingdom and kidnaps Peach. But this time, for whatever reason, he builds 7 hotels and Peach is stuck in one of them. So now Mario has to go through all 7 hotels to find her. Truly a groundbreaking idea. But the cutscenes really take it to the next level. The characters look like they were drawn in Microsoft Paint, and at times it feels like Mario's been dragged into the back rooms, totally cursed. But this game gave us this famous clip.
I hope she made lots of spaghetti.
So does the gameplay make up for it? Not really. As Mario, you basically just have to close doors. Defeat enemies and close doors. This game was a total flop. And the saddest part is, the game wasn't even developed by Nintendo, but they licensed and approved it. Well, maybe that was Nintendo's secret plan all along. Destroy the rival console from the inside with Mario himself. But did Nintendo even have better Mario games on their own consoles? While Hotel Mario came out in 1994 for the Philips CDI, Nintendo released Mario's Time Machine for both the NES and the SNES. However, those are two different games even though they share the same name and cover, but we'll be talking about the SNES version. So what's a game called Mario's Time Machine about? Exactly. Mario uses a time machine to travel back in time, but not to see dinosaurs or to stop the birth of an Austrian artist. No, Mario has to bring back artifacts stolen by Bowser so that the world history doesn't change. I think the art school must be thrilled. But instead of a classic 2D platformer, you get to return Newton his famous apple or hand Beethoven the sheet music for his 9th symphony. A pretty nice idea in theory, if only the gameplay wasn't so slow and illogical. First you take an artifact, then enter where and when you want to go in the time machine, and for some reason Mario suddenly surfs and gets sucked into a whirlpool. Then, out of nowhere, you spawn exactly where you wanted to go. And now comes the tedious part. Reading endless walls of text, then answering multiple choice history questions in a textbook, and after that you drop off the artifact and return to your own time. That's the entire gameplay loop, so it gets boring pretty fast. What's not boring though is the visual design. The buildings and settings don't really fit Mario, but they try to design them authentically to match the culture and time period. In Greece you see those classic column-supported temples, and in Egypt you get buildings with hieroglyphs and traditional architecture. But in terms of gameplay, the game doesn't really seem any better than Hotel Mario to me. You might learn a bit about famous people and cultures, but it doesn't really look like much fun. But what about Mario teaches typing? I'll keep it short, it's just a typing tutor. The only thing you can really praise about the game are the awesome sound effects. Now let's get to the ultimate fever dream. Mario Pinball Land, also called Super Mario Ball. The game begins with 2 Goombas operating a cannon that's supposedly part of an attraction where you get shot at a target. That already sounds weird enough, but Mario and Peach don't suspect anything and just trust the Goombas. Peach even lets herself get turned into a ball and then, totally unexpectedly, gets shot straight into Bowser's castle. And now, of course, Mario tries to rescue Peach, but not in his usual form. He's also a pinball. And just like that, you're thrown right into the game. You literally control Mario like in a pinball machine, with 2 flippers at the bottom of the screen that bounce him through the level. In each section, you have to defeat all enemies to get a star, which unlocks the next area. This concept stays the same and repeats until you finally reach the boss. And that's also the criticism. The gameplay elements are too repetitive. Enemies and obstacles change sometimes, but the level design itself still lacks variety. Another big issue is the controls. You hardly have any control control over how hard Mario gets hit or in what direction he rolls. And what makes it even more frustrating, if Mario falls between the two flippers, you get sent back to the previous area where all the defeated enemies respawn and block your way again, so you can't immediately continue. All in all, it's really not a game you want to play for too long, because the controls are just too annoying and the levels far too monotonous. But there's one more game I want to talk about. Dance Dance Revolution Mario Mix. Because unlike the games I mentioned before, this one stands out not just with its unusual gameplay, where you actually have to dance yourself, but also with a completely different storyline. This time, Peach doesn't get kidnapped by Bowser again, but instead 4 music keys are stolen by none other than...
Hello, human. It is I, Waluigi.
And Waluigi steals these music keys for a specific reason. He wants to become the best dancer in the world and hypnotize the rhythmless masses. A Toad witnesses the crime and immediately sets off to warn Mario. Mario understands the situation and naturally sets off right away. The first challenge they now face is a... river. Apparently they can't cross it. But isn't that a bit weird? Mario has his house right there, and this path leads straight to the river, and now he's all surprised that there's a river? And why is that even a problem? Isn't Mario Jumpman himself? Anyway, the only solution seems to be dancing. Well then, here we go.
Are you ready? Let's reveal your soul.
And dancing is really the answer to every problem here. Got lost in a frigid tunnel? Dance your way out. Attacked by a large octopus? Dance to defend yourself. Want Waluigi's stone music key? Dance to get it. But don't underestimate him. Waluigi dances like his life depends on it. But if you actually manage to beat Waluigi, you get one of the 4 music keys and then you never see Waluigi again. Even though the game first makes it look like Waluigi is the main villain, it turns out he's just the first boss. But the real final boss, who doesn't just want to take over the world, but also show off his incredible dance moves, is none other than... Of course it's Bowser, and somehow he moves really well. No idea how he does that, but it's crazy. And once you finally beat Bowser, all the music keys come back together and everything is okay again. The idea behind Dance Dance Revolution Mario Mix sounds pretty creative at first, but in the end, the game doesn't offer much content and the game is over faster than you think. And that's it. In many of these games, Mario didn't save princesses the usual way. Instead, he became a pinball, a dancer, or even a door-closing concierge. Some games are rightly forgotten, while others are just weird enough to be remembered. And even though you could say Mario got a bit humiliated in these games, maybe that's exactly why they shouldn't be completely forgotten.